Heritage. It's the stories we inherit, the values we carry, the culture we pass down. But what happens when heritage meets one of life's most profound challenges? Cancer. In Leicester, a city rich in diversity and resilience, these two forces collide in deeply personal, powerful ways. This documentary shares the voices of people from diverse backgrounds. It shows how heritage shapes our understanding of illness and how strength often grows in silence, tradition, and community. This isn't just a story about cancer. It's a story about culture, resilience, and the way people face illness. This is Heritage of Hope.
So at the university, we are very proud to do world-leading research in many areas in health, space, and heritage. There are a lot of unsolved questions, and the universities are important to understand and come up with the solutions. And I'm very proud of the University of Leicester. We are doing cutting-edge research in many of these areas. But I'm very proud of the work that our colleagues are doing in cancer research, because it is a huge problem that's facing many of us, even in my family and colleagues. This is something that I see regularly. So in the university, we do a lot of heritage research, but it is not exclusive for archaeology or ancient history, but also in other disciplines like medicine. Understanding different cultures, what kind of treatments they used before and how do we learn from them, but also to kind of share different cultural perspectives, historical perspectives, to understand how, when we share information about new findings, to make it relevant for them so that when they relate that to the history and the heritage, they understand it better and appreciate it better.
Cancer it's a single name, but it's actually made up of loads of different diseases, tens, if not, well, probably over 100 different diseases. So our body is made up of millions of billions, probably, of cells. Their proliferation, so they divide, and their proliferation and their growth is a very tightly regulated process. And in cancer, that process goes wrong. And those restrictions on cell growth are gone, and so the cells just keep proliferating and dividing, and that's why you get a mass or a tumour forming from the cells if it's in a solid tissue, and that's what goes on to form cancer. And ultimately, what tends to cause death is when the cancer metastasizes, so when it spreads from its original site to a distant part of the body, and it kind of affects the function of the organs in the body. So if you catch cancer whilst it's still confined, still restricted to a tissue, maybe the breast tissue or even the colon, so it's still a discrete mass of cells, then you can often do surgery, and then you may have treatment on top of that, but you can take it away before it's had a chance to spread, hopefully. And it makes a very big difference to outcomes.
Understanding cancer is the first step towards defeating it, because when we know more, we can do more.
In Leicester, we do have a unique local community and a very diverse population, and it does mean that we can begin to answer and address certain questions that maybe people can't in other parts of the country.
To understand people's journeys, we needed to go out and collect them from real lives, real voices, and who knows Leicester better than its own people? With the help of local organisations and the University of Leicester, we trained a group of volunteers from the local community to carry out the interviews and support the filming.
It's very real how we're recording it, how nothing is scripted. We are simply asking questions. It's very authentic, which is what is needed when we're making a documentary and talking about cancer.
It's giving people space to talk a space that is completely led by them and what they want to talk about and what they want to give to other people through their stories and their experiences and what they want people to learn from them.
That's why I'm hopeful for this project, because it has candid discussions about cancer and also the role of culture.
Once you get to speak to a person, it just feels like nobody else is really in the room, so it feels more like a conversation.
Just understanding a lot more behind the person's background, treating them as a person.
A lot of medical students have volunteered to do this. I think it's because we do want to know how to do better, because we are going to be sort of the doctors of the future.
I've also experienced cancer in my family, so I thought it could be a good one way of healing.
Taking away the fear and the stigma around it, I think will be so helpful.
Every person who has cancer has something that, a story, a background that you can't take away, even though we slap on that label of cancer.
The name is George West, and I am, 2 weeks ago, I am now 90, my last decade. Make the best of it. So I've served, as you'll see, with the British Army, and I really miss those days. I used my spare time to build up the jazz scene, which next year celebrates its 50th anniversary. I didn't even think it would last 50 weeks.
My name is Meena Mojaria. I live on Saffron Lane and I am 72-years old. I live in Leicester for 51 years and my background is Hindu culture.
My name is Bernard Wilson. I'm 72 years of age and I'm from Jamaica.
My name is Dilshad Butt and I live in Leicester, Greenland. I'm from India.
I'm Dr. Samaher. I'm from Syria. I spent most of my life between Saudi Arabia and UAE.
My name is Fiona. I am 43 years old. I'm Black British Caribbean from the Leicester area.
My name is Z. I am originally from Leicester with South Asian roots.
My name is Jim. I'm 81 years old and I live in Trinity Hospital, which is sheltered accommodation.
My name is Valletta Grimsley, but everyone calls me Val for short. My mum came here in 1955 when I was a baby of 6 months old. So she was part of the Windrush generation, and last Friday celebrated 70 years in the UK.
My name is Jane Greenaway, born in Leicester. So I am a local girl.
So we asked, how did you react to your cancer diagnosis?
2010, when I had a little lump on my cheek, the GP said, a cyst, nothing to worry about. Off I went, and then I found it was something to worry about. Well, first of all, my reaction, just get the damn thing out. Just get it out and let's get it over with. That's me. Don't worry about the rest. But, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
When I heard the cancer word, I know it's like a doctor said it's the first stage or something, but the stage and malignant, benign, forget it, the cancer, it's a big word. Nobody wants to speak a word like this until if you go through, and it's really, really very dangerous. I'm not going to survive.
So we did the test, and then when I went back to see him, he said to me that I've got prostate cancer. I remember at the time when I was in hospital, I was surrounded by 80 and 90-year-old men. I was 50, and I was thinking, wow, this is something else.
No, reception said, you need to come with your family. That time I knew that something is there. But I was a bit frightened,
When the doctor said the word cancer, it felt like my world had stopped. And my heart just dropped. The first thoughts that came into my mind were, how am I going to look after my children, and what's my finances going to be looking like moving forward?
I don't want to cry because it's my younger brother. It was last year on September when we discovered that he has brain tumor. It was shock that it was nightmare. I hate to remember that day.
You just want everything out there so that you can process it all. Is it going to be successful, all the questions that go through your head? And my daughter, with her being autistic and needing support.
I was quite angry about it because I'd gone on in pain for 5 months.
My mum was diagnosed with cancer in 2019. Although she was physically in my life, she mentally and emotionally checked out a long time ago. So when we sat there and got her diagnosis, it was very difficult for both me and my dad. We were both processing it individually, but we were also processing it on her behalf because she didn't really understand what was going on.
Did your culture or family background affect how you coped?
The relation between me and my brother, it's more than twins. Our culture, we hide, we don't tell the patient that it's great for, and it's very, very aggressive kind of tumor. There, no, they didn't even tell us. They told him first, and then they told him, if you want to tell your family, you can. I was crying the whole time. I'm sorry, I can't imagine the life without Ahmed. He was my twin.
I was given an operation in January. By May, I was in desperate trouble. The whole thing had erupted. They said, we will take something from one part of your body and put it there. Fair enough. In I went. What they actually did, they opened up my chest and took the muscle that controls your arm with its blood supply, and that's what you're looking at. This is the muscle that previously controlled my arm. A great restriction on life with no previous warning. I felt that after the operation, I had to turn this to some good use. But this is what I did. George's views on healthcare staff communication. Be as kind to me as I am to you. Although I am old, I am not senile. So there are people, you do need to know how to talk to patients and vice versa, there's no doubt about that.
And I think the biggest thing was for me was losing my hair. And the chemo that I had didn't actually make all my hair, they just made it thinner, and so they advised me to, because I had extensions and different fancy things put in, they just sort of said take those out because the weight of them will pull out your hair anyway. And we were brought up in a sort of strict Caribbean background. Church on Sunday, you know, you can't come in the door with your shoes on, you have to take your shoes off, that sort of thing. And clothing wise, you had your Sunday best. And I used to be crying to one of my nurse friends. I've known her since we were 17. We did our cadet nursing together. I call her the witch because she's always on my case. And she used to say to me time and time, listen, don't go on about losing your hair. You're losing your hair, not your life. And that's why I always reminded myself, you know, you're losing your hair, you've still got your life, so, which I'm grateful for.
I got a right side breast cancer. So it was a lump. They will do the mammogram, X-ray, and they said, I think it's a cancer, but I need to do proper checkup, like a grade and stage. I need to do the biopsy. And I say, okay, give me time. I go home and I will come back. But actually, I don't want to come back because biopsy, I heard biopsy is no good things. Honestly.
Who did you hear that? Who told you that biopsy was?
I know. In my home, everybody say like we know biopsy is no good thing. Sometimes like cultural belief, and also in a religious said nazar means if you're doing good, it was like our eyes, oh, you're surviving good, it's okay, so your cancer done, you're coping with them. Sometimes it's go to bad as well. So it's like nazar is very bad things, evil eye is very bad things.
So nazar basically is a superstitious belief almost that is held about almost like a negative gaze upon someone who's got things that are, good or going really well for them, or just, sailing in life, happily. And I don't know if you've ever been to Turkey, but you'll see a lot of their amulets which have necklaces or bracelets which have like a symbol of the eye, usually in the colour blue. These amulets are usually worn by people as a way of warding off evil or misfortune, for example.
My faith helped me because whatever meant to happen, it's happened. But my family supported me and said that I believe in God and don't lose your positive thinking. And I was doing yoga and coming here for relaxation, massage, and I had so much support from the, here.
Coming from a Caribbean background, we're kind of private people, so we don't look for pity or gossip or things like that. So in terms of things like an illness, it is kind of a personal, private family thing. Now, because of the age of my mum and the sicknesses that she already has, as a family with my sisters, we decided that it would be best to not tell her about the situation because I'm my mum's baby. If my mum got wind that this is what I was going through, she wouldn't be here today. So we decided that it's best to just keep it amongst ourselves as with me and my sisters, my 4 sisters, and we just deal with it as a family. Even going to the hospital and being in the hospital, seeing some of the nurses or somebody that you might know that knows your family is really difficult because it's always like a situation where you try not to let my mum know.
What about the kids then? So you said you mentioned a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old, I think you said?
A 14-year-old. So the 2 children, they know, and the schools know because of my treatments. I'm always in and out of hospital. But even with them, they're so cared for in a bubble by the family, it's like they almost don't know. Because, like how on TV you'll see like in an English family that they're like, everybody's like caring for them and how are you? And it's nothing like that. It's just basically continue. It's put your wig on, put makeup on and continue. It's like within the Caribbean culture, there isn't really much emotion there. From the very beginning, I felt isolated. From the moment of being diagnosed to leaving the hospital, to understanding how to go about work, to go about the children in school, to go about paying my bills at home, I've been left alone to deal with everything on my own.
At one point, I felt like giving up because I was feeling sorry for myself. I'm thinking 50 and cancer, blah, blah, blah. And she says, you need to fight this through. And because I had to inject myself for about 3 months or 2 months, and I thought, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I'd rather just lie down and give up. But she talked me through and she says, look, you've got to pull yourself together and give her her dues. I mean, like I said, we've been together 30 years. And whenever the going gets rough, I just reflect on what she did. And I thought, well, if it wasn't for you, maybe I wouldn't be here.
So my dad's Muslim. I'm a Muslim. My mum was Hindu, and then she reverted into the religion of Islam. Our religion would say what's the best interest. We wouldn't want the body to suffer. Whereas culturally, sometimes it would be the case of do everything you can, even if that means that pay. For example, towards the end, when it was clear that my mum didn't have, there was they'd done everything that they could do, and she was, it was time to let go. My dad was really struggling with that, And it might not be even a culture, it might be just his personal relationship, but he wanted to carry on enterally feeding her, whereas I felt like it was time to let go. And religiously, it would be, you need to let the soul depart from this earth and not, give it any more harm. I felt like we were causing the body more harm by keeping her alive. So that's where a cultural and a religious belief were in conflict with each other.
So what gave you strength?
It's at times like that you turn back to your faith. You can draw on your faith for strength, which I did.
The whole family, we work as a teamwork and we search everywhere, and then we found some medicines and maybe herbals, and we are trying our best and waiting for them.
Sheila is one of the most wonderful women that I've ever met. Very talented. Her parents are from St. Kitts. I was welcomed into that Caribbean family. So she just took it in her stride.
We believe as Muslims that God does not burden you with more than you can bear, and it was this belief, I believe, that gave me the strength to let go.
I suppose people had their own opinions and things, and people talk about herbal stuff, and with Jamaica we have got our own medication for things, cook up some herbs and things, but I just thought, nah. And I think maybe because I've been here, like I said, since I was 15, so I understand a lot more about myself and my culture. And like I said, I do look into that quite deeply to try and know yourself, know where you're going. And I think that helped me as well.
Yeah, good upbringing, raised by a strong Bajan woman, as we say. So, strong myself.
I work on cancer prevention. So I work to develop therapies that people can take to try and reduce their risk of developing cancer. Kind of been working in this area for about 20 years at least, maybe a bit longer. And the field really has changed. There never used to be a lot of work on cancer prevention, at least in this field that we work in. But over the last 5 years, it's really gained a lot of importance and a lot more focus, because people are beginning to realise that we can't treat our way out of the cancer problem. The cancer burden for society in every country across the world is just too big. So we absolutely need to reduce the number of cases of cancer. So there is a switch and emphasis towards more cancer prevention.
One of the reasons I work at the university is that I always see talented students and staff. They all have ideas, they want to change the world, and as you know, in Leicester we call it citizens of change, because we want everybody to be a change maker. And what I notice is the younger generation, they care about many of the issues that are facing humanity. And they are more passionate and active and want to be solve the problems that they see that happen in our society. And I'm excited by what I see. And just to give you one example, in the medical school we have MedRace. It is a student-run society that is trying to make sure healthcare is relevant for different communities, not just in terms of patients, but also people who work in healthcare.
Certain people from certain backgrounds might be at higher risk for certain cancers, such as head and neck cancer is linked to kind of tobacco, smoking, tobacco chewing. So some populations can have a high risk of that. It can play a factor in when you seek medical attention for symptoms of cancer. And if you go late, the later cancer is diagnosed, the worse the outcomes. So again, certain communities may be more reluctant to go to their GPs or to seek any kind of help.
Go into the doctor beginning. If it is nothing, it's nothing to worry. But if there is something, you will be treated early. When you treat it early, you will chance, because doctor is a human being, is not God. So he need time to do something on you. You don't go on the last time. You won't get the time to do that. Doctor won't get time to do on you something. And I'm still asking if there is any other option about biopsy.
I'm getting the impression you don't like biopsies.
Don't like biopsy at all.
You must go. You must. It's not worth leaving it.
You need to be told the truth. There's no two ways about it. Because if you know the truth and you know what the score is, you can more easily cope with it. I mean, eventually it did become clear sort of what was going to happen and how it was going to happen, and that in all probability, I sort of would survive and they would be able to do something about the prostate cancer.
Helpful too if somebody explains something what to do. They might be like me, no one to come. Don't want to come back, so we will encouraging them to come and sort it out. You need to sort it out. If there is a problem, you need a solution. And the solution, if you don't go through, nobody come to your home to, forcing you to do that. You have to come walk in your own way, own willingnessly to sort it out these things.
You often see this motivated cancer patient who, fights through all of it. But sometimes people fight silently, and those people, they're not represented enough, especially those who come from cultures where talking about cancer is just not normalized. And the problem with not talking about cancer is that it stops them from seeking help.
I think the reality is that it needs to be discussed. And I think in some communities they don't tend to do that. In my circle, there's a domino group that they tend to have a domino group where they can discuss that among themselves and talk to the wider community as well.
So certain people from maybe South Asian backgrounds or other ethnic minorities may be less likely to engage in screening and attend for screening, maybe for cultural reasons. They maybe don't want to talk about cancer, they're not so open about the potential issues of cancer, or the fact that for bowel cancer screening you need to take a poo sample and analyse the poo sample. They can maybe be less inclined to do that. So there are definite barriers and differences between different groups which affect uptake of screening, which can in turn affect outcomes if you do actually develop cancer.
I'm very hopeful, but it's very easy to see we've still got so far to go with giving people appropriate care.
Nobody should have to be in that situation where they feel completely scared and alone and that they don't know what's going to happen to them.
If you think about it, it all goes back to the home. Which you have cancer, you go through your journey, but additionally it's in the home.
If I get that support that I need culturally, background-wise, I'll be able to fight my disease, even in other diseases as well. Yeah, just that.
And it's absolutely heartbreaking that to get us to this point, it's taken these kind of conversations. Probably families that have suffered without their voices being heard.
We can still do so much better. There's definitely loads that has been done so far, but there is still so much more work to do through projects like this.
This whole project has really helped me appreciate that culture plays such a significant role in everybody's lives. It affects how we perceive symptoms, it affects who we go to for help, and what we value.
In the kind of work that I'm involved in and other people in the Cancer Centre in Leicester, there is a big emphasis on trying to understand barriers and reasons for barriers in all sorts of different groups, and to make sure that we are making access to cancer treatment, access to cancer trials and the kind of prevention studies that I do as equal and as open and accessible as possible for everyone.
Because more voices have been heard, there is more amplification through these kind of documentaries and conversations and heartbreaking stories. It's the story, I think, that makes all the difference.
Heritage is not just about the past.
It's about the legacy we leave.
the courage we pass on.
Behind every voice in this film,
there is strength,
pain,
and hope.
And through sharing these stories,
we carry something forward.
Something bigger than ourselves.
This is the heritage
of hope.
Hope. Hope.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope.
Hope.